in our country in a manner that we as the people in the country don't feel like will be beneficial to us. Because the same constitution in Article C I explained to you that we have a right to uphold the rights of others. The following provisions of this chapter shall have effect for the purpose of affording protection to the rights and freedoms of persons as set out in those provisions, to the extent that those rights and freedoms do not prejudice the rights and freedoms of others. Everybody have a right, and you don't, and no one has a right to infringe the right of anyone else. In other words, all people are equal. It no matter who you want. The Prime Minister is still a man, and the Prime Minister have a right to try and make same laws, the Governor General, but them not have no more dignity nor no more power than the people. The people in the country, the average citizen, have as much power as a citizen of the country as the Governor General. And we have to understand that, and we give them the office. The office is a place where they sit down, where they have certain levels of authority while they are sitting there, but they are still individuals. Let's look at subsection 2. Now, chapter 3, subsection 2 of the Jamaican Constitution states, subject to sections 18 and 49 and to subsections 9 and 12 of this section, and save only as may be demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society, hear the article them now. This chapter guarantees the rights and freedoms set out in subsection 3 and 6 of this section, and in sections 14, 15, 16 and 17 of this constitution. Again, remember, this section I go have subsection 3 and 4, with their subsection 2 now. And it also explains to you, so you have the rights as explained in section 14, 15, 16 and 17. Those sections will be explored in future videos. For this video, remember, we're sticking to section 13, just the core fundamental rights of the individual. So section 2, article B is, Parliament shall pass no law and no organ of the state shall take any action which abrogates, abridges, or infringes these rights. That is the same rights that we already explained, and the same rights that we'll be exploring in this video. Nobody has a right to violate any of these rights. Subsection 3. The rights and freedoms referred to in subsection 2 are as follows. I hope everybody understands the process. So now we are looking on your screen. Now we are looking at section 3. Subsection 3 of section 13 of our Constitution. By the time I'm finished, you guys will understand. And I'm making a point of duty to keep repeating the coding for what the articles are or where they are, so that you can get the understanding. So all of this video is section 13 of our Constitution, and in section 13 we are now looking, if you look on the screen now, we are looking at subsection 3 of section 13 of the Constitution, and specifically we are looking at article A of subsection 3 of section 13 of Jamaica's Constitution. Now, what is article A of subsection 3 saying? It is the right, it is exploring the right to life, liberty, and security of the person, and the right not to be deprived thereof, except in the execution of a sentence of a court in respect of a criminal offense of which the person has been convicted. So nobody has a right to infringe with any of your rights unless you were convicted in a criminal offense. That's what this one is saying. Article B. You also have the right to freedom of thought. Article B, 3B, it's explaining the right to freedom of thought, conscience, belief, and observance of political doctrine. That's your right. 3B. Section 13 of the Constitution, Article 3, subsection 3, Article B. So in other words, Section 13, subsection 3, Article B, the right to freedom of thought, conscience, belief, and observance of political doctrines. It's your right. You can do it. Any one of them. Free thought. Think about anything. That me I thinking on my mind. Let me just say, I tell you what I'm thinking on my mind. So, Constitution, Section 13, subsection 3, Article B. The right and freedom of every Jamaican citizen. The right to freedom of thought, conscience, belief, and observance of political doctrine. In other words, you're free to think anything at all you want to think in your mind about anybody at all. You're free to have conscience or no conscience about any matter or anything you say or whatever. You're free to believe anything at all you want to believe. And you're free to observe your political doctrines in Jamaica. Section 13, subsection 3, Article C. The rights and freedom referred to in subsection 2 again. Continue. The right to freedom of expression. Any expression, anything you want to express. Now, I see in the media one pastor man express some things about Mr. Holmes and by Melissa Panning and me them lock him up. Now, me really curious to hear how film court case I go or what the judge I go say to him or if him lawyer I go behave like an idiot. Because the truth is, him can think and express anything when you want to express, no care what they want in the country. And mark you, this one I read out, all of these laws is subject to normal operation in Jamaica. It don't have nothing to do with the state of emergency. We're going to deal with the state of emergency in a subsequent video. So freedom of expression. Expression can mean singing, dancing, all kind of different things. Acting, whatever you would want, however you would want, express yourself or the views or the feelings that you have. D. The right to seek, receive, distribute, disseminate information, opinions, and ideas through any media. Now, I'm not sure if I have to explain that to you, but that I want to right to access any information, get it on your phone, send it to your friend, do anything with any bit of information you want to get. Don't make nobody tell you nothing, send it on Facebook. Now, them are going to build laws, say them the embassy can use it for give visa, all kind of thing. That are for them right too. So you have to understand that you already have a right to do whatever you want to do. Now, if them embassy no want to take your send you go foreign because you want to say something about one government or one minister or whatever, you have to understand that the same UN consulate, for them logo we did have on the previous page, and them would go against them owner doctrine. Simply put. So with that said, I'm going to express my views. I plan to put it on the YouTube, the Facebook, not the LinkedIn or maybe even the Twitter, but I can move on. E. Every Jamaican person has the right to freedom of peaceful assembly and association. Free. Once we want to group up anywhere at all, if you can just go there, go group up. Sit down, group up and talk about what we are talking about. No care what we want to talk about, if we can just group up and talk about it. Now, we should point out as well that our government would have met certain pieces of legislation that targeted against this peaceful assembly and association when they make even anti-gang legislation and all kind of other subordinates of these fundamental rights. So they want to use to say if people group up and talk about certain things or whatever, they might have planned something against the national interest. And them are going to use that to try to persecute the individual, but we as individuals have to realize that we shouldn't allow them to do this because we already did secure a right for peaceful assembly and association. We have to understand with all the rights that people dead feel. People like living people did not live when we never have them rights here. and them would realize that all of the ploy with the government, where you want to call them government or you want to call them plantation owner, white man, backer master, before we so-called independence, we have to understand so we did have government too, and they may have laws in the country, even though they may have slaves. You have to understand so slavery was just one aspect of the law, and they may have laws as to how slaves were supposed to be treated on plantations, and laws as to how much overseer should be on a plantation based on the number of slaves with that plantation. I keep all like a law. This is what we have to understand. Law just for them rule. So if we are going to sit down in our country and make them change the rules every day on us, we can very well find ourselves in a position where we feel like the slavery where we people them did in the past. I want to consider suppose tomorrow our government said when a man convicted of a crime, the government have a right to send him to one of the work camps where they are China. Would you accept this as a law? And if not, how would we approach it? How would we react to an act like that where they are going to bring going to parliament, or a bill like that where they are going to bring going to parliament but propose to turn law? We as the people have to start get upset about some of the things that they are bring going to parliament but try to make a law in the country where we have to live. Slavery never just happened so. Slavery was a process, and a process where it's sanctioned by law over time, step by step, and then we get it to a place where them could have people work for free from plantation and them never do anything against the law. F. The right to freedom of movement. That is to say, the right of every citizen of Jamaica to enter Jamaica, and the right of every person who is lawfully in Jamaica to move around freely throughout Jamaica, or to reside in any part of Jamaica and to leave Jamaica whenever you feel. The graphic alone is self-explanatory. Now, I want everybody to remember say all of the facets, all of them are providing us what is in our constitution, have nothing to do with why the Emergency Powers Act when Mr. Holness the bill or the government under the tutelage of Bill Gates allow several countries around the world to bill. It's basically an act where take away all your fundamental rights and freedoms simply because there is a so-called emergency. And they put it in Bill Gates in 2010, made the 12th talk where he spoke about the possibility of a terror attack or something like that, creating a health emergency. And between 2010 and 2016, he was able to travel around to more than 60 countries and get the government of these countries to enact laws between then and 2020 that would take away all of the rights of the average citizen in the case of a medical emergency. And yes, Jamaica, we are today, 2021, in the middle of a medical emergency. I wish to point out as well that the Andrew Holness-led administration, using the same clause of the Emergency Powers Act, had Jamaica under a state of emergency for almost 4 years. And before that, the Emergency Powers Act of 1957 only allowed a government to close down a country for 7 days for an emergency. Now, the emergency they had in their mind at that time was maybe an invasion from a foreign territory or something along that line. And the act of the Emergency Powers Act of 1957 said 7 days the Prime Minister could call a state of emergency and lock down the country for. And if he needed additional time, he could request it from the Governor General, and a provision was in place where he could get an additional 14 days. Now they erased all of this, and Mr. Holness and his administration have been locking down our country for years at a time. Locking down our country means removing of the rights of the average citizen, right for privacy. Several of the rights that we are going to that we haven't even explored yet are deprived or denied of the citizens in the state of emergency, and that is what this administration has done for almost their entire last term in governmental office.